Hi, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. If you're struggling with the high notes on your harmonica, you're in the right place. This is the second in my series of Harmonica Hacks, and we're looking at problems with playing high notes on the harmonica and how to get around those. If you enjoy this lesson today, please click like, share with your friends, and also subscribe because I put out a free harmonica lesson every single week. I'm using a C harmonica, C diatonic 10-hole harmonica. That's probably the harmonica you've got. It's most commonly used in pop, rock, blues music. A lot of Western music uses this kind of harmonica. Now, the high notes can be troublesome, especially when you're just learning the basics to begin with. Okay, so sometimes you might get this sort of sound. Either nothing or a little squeak. Something like that when you're going for 7, 8, 9, draw especially, okay? Now, I get a lot of questions about this, and often people want to know if there's a problem with their harmonica. Should they take the harmonica back to the shop? Don't take your harmonica back, because 99% of the time it's down to technique, which I am billing as good news, because that means you can improve your technique, save yourself some money on getting a new harmonica. It's all down to what's happening with your mouth shape. This applies across the board on the harmonica, but it's especially relevant with the higher notes, the higher draw notes, and also the lower draw notes. So I get similar questions from people asking about the 2 draw especially. We're going to concentrate on the high notes, but bear in mind through this whole lesson that the draw notes, especially the lower draw notes, can have this problem as well. What it comes down to is what you're doing with your mouth and how much pressure you're putting on the harmonica, okay? So the biggest single thing you can do to improve this is to relax, which is easier said than done. But if you can take a kind of tense, restricted, restrained position and release all that, and that means inside as well as out, you can see me go from that to that, but you can't see what's happening inside, going from kind of sucking through a straw to just really relaxed. If you can make that change, that one single change, most of your problems with getting notes to play will actually disappear almost overnight. Something I often say to my private students is breathe, don't heave. And what I mean by that is that kind of heaving, heavy breathing that it can be tempting to do. Filling your lungs is actually really bad for the harmonica, or bad for your playing on the harmonica. What you need to learn to do is seep the air through. And I don't mean as if you're sucking through a straw, because that will have negative effects also. But what I mean is not pulling in a lot of air at once. So you're just bringing in a little bit of air, but it's quite a relaxed breath. So you won't hear, without the harmonica there, you won't hear that airy sound, because I'm not pulling the air that hard. You won't hear a slurp, because I'm not doing that. And you won't hear and you won't see me filling my lungs. You won't get that kind of expansion of the lungs, at least not that quickly, because it's more. Okay, I have another lesson on getting a clean 2 draw, and I have lessons on playing single notes on the harmonica, and I've said similar things in those about this technique. It's the most important fundamental technique for beginners. What happens when you pull too hard or you're too tight is you change the air direction and you change the air pressure, and what that does is the harmonica actually starts to try and bend that note. Now, with the higher draw notes, the note won't bend, so you'll just get either no note or you'll get a squeaky, squealy sort of sound. If you were looking at the lower notes, you actually might get the note bending when you don't want it to. So these are techniques you need to be in control of so that you can turn a bend on and off on the instrument. And for now, we're just looking at playing a note completely cleanly, so we don't want to play a bend at all. So when we're trying to play that note, you need to be as relaxed and gentle as possible, and just think about seeping the air through, opening your airwaves as much as possible. And remember, you're the only person who is in control of what's happening inside. You can't even see it yourself, let alone me seeing it, okay? So you have to experiment, and you need to find your way of relaxing and just letting the air come through as cleanly as possible, so that hopefully you start to get, for example, 8 draw sounding like this. Okay, those higher notes are going to be more sensitive than the mid-range of the harmonica, which is probably why you're thinking there's a problem with the harmonica itself, because you're thinking, well, if I can play a 4 draw or a 5 draw or a 6 draw maybe, why can't I play a 7 and 8 or a 9 draw? But it's just down to the makeup of the instrument, the way it's laid out. It's probably not your harmonica. 99% of the time it isn't. So concentrate on slowing down, being as gentle as possible, and just letting the air come through slowly and consistently rather than pulling in. Remember, above all else, breathe, don't heave. I hope you've enjoyed this harmonica hack on playing high notes. Please click like, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, because I put out a free harmonica lesson every single week. I'll be back with something else next week, and I take requests. So if there's a song, a technique, or something like this that you'd like to know about, please put a comment beneath the video, or you can email me, contact@LearnTheHarmonica.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter, and also now Instagram if you search LearnTheHarmonica.com. Until I see you again, enjoy your practice, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.